Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to yet another season of the Inimitable podcast. If you are here, it's because you needed to be here. We, this season, are going to be talking about turning the page, the journey of exiting one season, entering into another one, because the story truly does continue. Semicolon, not a period. So let's find out what's on the other side of this pain, of the trauma, of being locked up, all of this thing. Stay tuned. We have a lot of great conversations that are coming up. So I hope that whatever is said, it resonates with you. Sit with this information, watch the replays, go back and watch other episodes because there's some good stuff that's being said. And I'm not just saying that because this is my podcast. I'm saying that because it is true. All right, guys, I will see you in a little bit. Bye. Hey, and we are here. Hello, world. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, we already got 3 people watching in the first minute and a half. Come on,
hey,
people. Today, she is no stranger to the pod. She has been here before. She is the Dr. Danni, and she has chosen this topic about detaching from negative narratives. And so she's really going to lead the conversation, and we're just going to go back and forth because, listen, the things that we do off of narratives is absolutely insane. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Danni is back. Round of applause.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate you guys. Disclaimer, you will hear little tiny people in the background. Ignore them. I am going to be loud enough that you will focus on what I'm saying. Ignore them. Lots of kids in the background. But yes, strangely enough, this was the topic that I felt like I was ready to just come to the front of the class and really just get it off my chest.
Come on.
And the more I was pondering on it, I'm like, okay, what the heck do I even want to say? But it's so important because a lot of people deal with it. And sometimes it'll literally change the trajectory of your life. It'll have you down and depressed and so many things. And I have experienced so many things. And once I realized the root of it was just sometimes what you're saying to yourself, but also others throughout the environment and everything. Mimi, close the door. Close the door. Because he want to join the podcast, obviously. Ain't nothing that funny. Just close it. Thank you. But yeah, so how I chose the subject, now that I'm finally just ready to share because it's the truth. And I always have the mindset of that if I could just help one person get out that ditch of where they are mentally, because sometimes the tough situations will put you in a cage. It'll put you in a prison. Sometimes you've already been set free physically, but you're in a mental cage. And we gotta get free. We got to get free. So how I got the whole thing from detaching from negative narratives, we're not going to go into too much details about my divorce, but there was a divorce after 14 years. And it really wasn't the actual divorce that was as horrid as what came after. And not even between myself and my ex-husband. It was the outside people, outside environment. Because you know what? We live in a day and age where everybody is super opinionated. And you know what? We're all like plants. I always use that example. We are like plants. And even though you think that it might not be affecting you, when people keep planting those seeds of negativity, it's going to start to be rooted. It's going to start to sprout some things without you even being aware of it. So we as individuals, we have to learn how to dump these things off because you're not a trash can. You're not a trash can. You do not have to accept anything from anyone else, even if the person is coming from, they say, well, I just really care about you. I said, I am so sure. Thank you so much. Because some things can be left. Just you didn't have to say. You could have kept it to yourself, could have lifted it up in prayer. You didn't have to tell me. You didn't have to tell me. It's making it worse. But now I'm comfortable with sharing what that negative narrative, people were saying to me post-divorce, oh, well, you just have to deal, with him anyways, because I have 4 children, so they was like, just deal with him anyways, even though it was negative, even though it was abusive. So they wanted me to, they felt that I should tolerate abuse and that I wasn't going to find anything else ever because I already have 4 children. And it didn't matter if they were all by this, they didn't care. Didn't matter about my education, nothing. All people see is another Black girl with a whole bunch of kids, and that was it. Don't even care. I said, I made the choice to walk away. And I'm not sorry. I'm not apologizing to another soul. It's not necessary. When you have to make a choice for your own peace, do it. And honestly, no one is you. That's what I've had to learn. They're not you. So at the end of the day, even if someone experiences something similar to you, it's always going to be somewhat different regardless because we're all different individuals. So I had to learn to just, you know, let people talk because you cannot control people. Sometimes you just have to stop listening, even when you can't control, because some people are very, very just, they're going to keep coming on purpose because they're looking for a reaction from you. And I've seen it. And you have to make up in your mind that this is who I am. This is what I need to do, and not worry about the other things, because essentially what is costing you your peace? Because whatever it is, it sincerely is too expensive.
Very. Listen, now you're on to some good stuff, Miss Ma'am, because it's true. We find ourselves, and I use that analogy of the jail or the cage very often.
Yeah.
We have been freed from a lot of stuff. That door is wide open, but because of fear, because of narratives, we just kind of park ourselves in there because the courage that it takes to walk out of the thing that you were in for so long, it's nerve-wracking as is. But now you add the elements of what you said of like, now here comes people's opinions, and here comes how they're gonna tell me who I am not, who I won't be. And it's like, okay, hold on. I already had to defeat this right here to walk out. I'm really not trying to fight you too. And all of the things that you have to say. I'm not trying to do it.
Yeah. People it's real.
And like when you said, I like the fact, because we both, well, she's the actual doctor, but we both teach, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And words are important. So she didn't just say like defeating negative narratives or like overcoming. She said detaching. And I said, now I got to make sure that I ask very specifically why you chose the detached of all words in the English language. Why detached, Dr. Danning?
So, I'm a lady of words, and words are, excuse me. Let's see, didn't want me to talk. I'm going to say it anyway. But so I chose that word intentionally because I could have said anything like, okay, we're going to kill it dead. But you know what? You have to learn. I said detached because you need to be completely separate from that thing. Whatever, you can put anything in that box. There's the box. Whatever it is, just toss it all, dump it all in the box. You don't even got to make it cute because it's ugly. Get rid of it, throw it in the box. And you need to completely slide the box on the corner of the road for it to be picked up by the trash truck. Detach. It's no longer a part of you, not mentally, not emotionally, not spiritually. And I said detach because it's going to, or because it does take a whole person, a whole body experience. You can't just say it, I'm not dealing with this. You have to push a little bit more out than that. And it does take work. I'm not gonna, I know mine happens to be divorce amongst other things, but there are so many things. You really have to detach yourself, meaning it's no longer a part of your identity. It's no longer part of, it's not the center, the forefront of what's around your characteristics, because a lot of times when we're around, negative people, negative spaces, people think it's always a narcissistic person. Sometimes you can be in the wrong place. Okay, the wrong job, the wrong whatever. You feel it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a faith-filled person. You feel that. Yeah. I believe we have this innate thing within us that tells us, get up out of here. Don't do it. Far away from it. Yeah. So I had to use the word detach because I'm like, this is going to have to be honestly, like I said, me and my plants. When you need to uproot a plant, you have to completely chop the whole thing off if you want to regrow it somewhere else. You cannot take it with no dead roots or nothing like that, because if you do, it's going to kill the whole new plant.
Come on.
So detached meaning no parts, no parts can be still here. So that word had to be personal for me. And I said,
Yeah.
I think this is a really good word, because we can't just defeat it, because some things are defeated, but they're still there. They're sitting on your bookcase staring at you every day. That ain't
Mm.
gone. That ain't detached. You
Mm.
got it. You can't just, it can't just be verbal, and it can't even just be just mental. There has to be action. And that's the difference. You really need to physically separate everything about it and you, regardless. And don't go back. Run for the hills. Don't even do it. Don't do it.
You're not about face a thing. You keep your face forward. I agree. And I like that. And, of course, because we're big on words and we're teachers,
Yes.
we know the importance of it. And it's so true, because when I'm teaching anybody, really, clients, mentees, whatever,
Yeah.
it's one thing to say I have to like separate from something, but sometimes when you give it such a word that has strong severity attached to it,
Yes.
it's like, no, I know I can't just like you said, place it in the box and just put it over there. And it's like, did you remove it?
Yeah.
Sure. Is it still accessible? Yes. When you detach from a thing, the goal is that there is no accessibility. Like my mom said, when you detach from a person, make sure they take everything, because if they leave even a sock,
Everything.
come back and be like, I forgot my socks. I'm just here to go. No. We're fully detached. Like,
Right. Get out. I'll buy you a new pair. Just get out. Serious.
gone,
Oh,
because these things do come back, and the
yeah.
mentalities come back, the words
Mhm.
come back. And I love the fact that you're talking about environment, because
Yeah.
that is so big. Like,
Mhm.
I have been in real time,
Yeah.
God has been showing me that it's like, yeah, you can change, and I want
Yeah.
you to change, and I want you to be influential, but sometimes I gotta uproot you out of these environments, because
Yeah.
it's not that you are killing it, it is killing you.
That's right.
Right? And
That's right.
yeah, my thumb is as brown as my skin. You hear me? But I've heard that like soil matters, because
It
if
does.
you
Yeah.
take it up and uproot a plant and you put it in the wrong soil, you can dig that hole and try to put
Yeah.
everything there. And if the environment is not conducive for what that plant needs, the plant's dead.
Gone.
It's
Gone.
yeah, like no
It's
life. It
real.
just you know. And so, speaking of plants, right? I also heard from a birdie that like plants, when you talk nice to them, they grow, and plants lean towards the light. And I
Yeah.
feel like this is a good little segue as we're
Yes.
talking about narratives, because when people talk over you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
can really like dim some lights.
Yeah.
And if we're not careful, it can plant a seed, and
That's
then
right.
we internalize that, and then
Yeah.
it becomes our own language. And
Yep.
now something that had nothing to do with us, everything to do with other people, we now have
Yeah.
taken that in, and now it's
Mm-hmm.
related. So let's talk about that, because that happens when speaking over
It's
somebody.
Yes, it's so real. And this is something I often discuss with other parents. As you know, me and the advocacy for other parents of neurodivergent children. Uh, Parenting in general is tough as nails. It really is tough. But when the child has added on stuff, it just brings a real plot twist. So I say to parents, you have to be careful what you're saying over that child's head. Even if they don't speak, even if they're nonverbal, people think non-speaking, nonverbal means stupid. It's not what it means. It means they vocally cannot verbalize at the moment. We're
Right.
gonna make this thing plain, because don't mean they'll never speak.
Come on.
It means they didn't say nothing right now.
Right. Right.
But you have those same kids that will, I've had clients who will come back and the child is older and the child is repeating everything
Oh
that
yeah.
they've said over time. And they looking at them like, was the bottom line, we're all people. What goes in is gonna come out.
Mm-hmm.
It can be very, very simple, as something as simple as in households where English is not the first language. If all they're speaking is Spanish, that's what is going to come out of the child because that's what they hear. That's what's being planted in them.
Right.
But listen, it's important, and I don't think a lot of times there's a lot of toxic people, whether it be through churches, your parents, your people that you think you're your friend, and not saying they're not your friend, but some you really have to be solid in you because sometimes people mean well, but it's not going to take you where you need to go. You
Right.
know, you have like a lot of people, they're always trying to be so, that's why I said that word detach. It was so intentional because when you're detaching, you gotta uproot completely, scoop out all of that. So by the time you finish scooping and carving and pruning out of you whatever was there, you
Oh,
do have you got some dents in you, you got some empty spaces in you that you have to fill with whatever needs to be there. For everyone it's different. Some people, lack confidence, and it all comes from somewhere.
yeah.
Everything. If you have you know you have households where they're speaking like, you're just so beautiful and I love your hair, and then that child grows up and they love their hair, whereas the other one is, your hair is nappy, oh my god, it's terrible. Then those children, those individuals don't love themselves, don't love their hair. So it all is super important, and people think it stops in adulthood. I said, please, no, it gets worse because there's so many people just always talking, and it's like I feel like most people are just, they don't pay attention to it. They're just, even in regular conversations, you do not need to take on every little thing that comes your way. And we all as individuals, we have to learn how to say to, you don't gotta say it to the person, because some people will fight you down and say that they didn't mean it like that, and they might have not. You have to be the deciding factor to tell your own self that I don't receive that. And sometimes you got to say it out loud, but you need to tell yourself, I do not receive that for myself. I understand they mean well, that's all fine and dandy, but I will not take that. I'm not taking that. I don't know what you thought. I'm not doing it. You really have to get bold with where you go, and you have to with yourself. So
Yeah.
I'm still learning. Not easy, but
Mhm.
it comes down to, who do you say you are? It's not every, I mean, half of us always listening to what other people have to say about us, even if it's good things. Okay. What do you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah. Now, I tell people all the time, I am still working with people that are well 40s, 50s,
Yeah.
that are still healing from
Oh
words,
yeah. Oh my goodness.
not
Mm-hmm.
just events,
Mm-hmm.
not just words that were
Words
spoken
are
over
powerful.
them, to them as a child.
Yeah.
And they're like, because they had that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones,
Yeah.
but words may. Lies, lies. It is scientifically proven that mental emotional abuse has the longest effects on a person,
Yeah.
because it deals with your psychological understanding, and
Yeah.
the way that you perceive, the way that you take things in. It literally deals with that, right? And I was talking to a few people lately, but I have this conversation with this very interesting gentleman that's going to be at my event on May 30th, but we'll wait for the end for that. And we were talking about mind control, and
Yeah.
how people will manipulate words,
Hmm. Oh yeah.
control this, right? And you were talking about, and I'm glad that you said it, because I'm about tired of people being like, "He's narcissist." Narcissism is not what we think that it
No. No.
is.
No. 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 No.
Everybody isn't narcissistic.
No.
Are there some narcissistic people out there? Absolutely. But
Yeah.
some people are just very, like, that hurt people hurt people. All
Yes.
they know is manipulation to get what they want. That's how they
Yes.
understood life, probably from some
Yeah.
childhood. But nonetheless, we have people that are destroying lives through words, right? If I can make you think, and this is why abuse continues. So you mentioned abuse, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
think, oh, this person just started by slapping them. It's like, not at all. This
Yeah.
person spent months, if not years,
Words.
psychologically destroying a
Hmm.
person's
Hmm.
sense of self, that the abuse
Mm.
became tolerable, right?
Yeah.
It became like, oh, I guess I am whatever,
Yeah.
whatever person had convinced you of through
Yeah.
work. Right.
Yeah,
And so I tell people all the time, like, you might want to watch what you say because there is
definitely.
somebody somewhere that is going to hear your words that you think are just small. And it's like, oh, that wasn't my intention. I hate that phrase
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
No, just because it's not our intention doesn't mean
Yeah,
that's not how it's received. But
that's
anyway,
right. That's
and
right.
your words, though they seem small, small they are not. They are
Mm-mm.
big, they are life changing, they are life altering, they can be manipulative,
Yeah.
they can be controlling, and they're not
Mm-mm.
just words, they are words.
And they grow over time.
Ooh, that's good. I like that phrase. They
Those
grow.
small little words become giants that are stomping on you like a little bug. I'm serious. It's
I
not good.
like how you said that. Words they grow and they find friends. I
They
realize
do.
they
They
find
do. They bring a whole tribe of hell right on with them.
yes,
And now
and
you
it's like
looking crazy. I'm looking like, oh, how did I get here? So them jokers was plotting on you for years. It never happens overnight,
yeah,
ever.
yeah. People are broken
Mm,
internally because of words that were said to
yeah.
them, about them, around them. And here's the thing, right?
Mm.
I think, and obviously we churchy, so they know we love Jesus over here in this here pod. Um, when you think about the creation story, right?
Mhm.
6 of those days God spoke, right?
Yeah.
And then he gave us the authority where, the power of life and death that's in our tongue, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so when we start to speak things, even if you're not in the same room as the person, it doesn't mean it doesn't reach them.
Doesn't everything is spiritual. That's a
Come on.
whole nother everything.
Because I am a firm believer, right? When we are uttering things, there's
Yeah.
always something that's catching it. And it's like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
let me deliver this message, right? And I remember seeing all of these memes on Instagram and stuff like that, where they're like, you never want to vent because vents lead to different rooms, right? Someone is taking words that they have heard and they're carrying these things and passing it around, and someone's whole character is demolished
Yeah.
by words, and they never
Yeah.
want to defend themselves. And I'm like, y'all, this is crazy. And social media and these Twitter fingers,
Oh
man.
my God. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. No, you're right. I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's true. And like I can definitely share a story of at this point I'm 35 now, but way back in middle school, apparently,
Mhm.
I said something to another person and she listed me or labeled me as said bully because I hurt her feelings.
Mhm.
She came back years later and was like trolling me on social media behind several pages. And I'm like, who is this fool? Because I ain't in the mood. I'm not in the mood. But the Lord told me this is this girl and this is what you said to her. And it did completely change
Mhm.
everything in her life, which I mean now in my adult, like when I got that conviction, I had to repent because I'm like, dang Lord, I was like 10.
Right.
I was
Right.
10 and the Lord was letting me know that it had nothing to really do with during that part because you're not held accountable at no age 10, but her it trickling over to adulthood and her ruining other people's lives because I said something that wasn't nice. And it
Mhm.
made me think differently about things because I'm like, Danny, you know good and doggone well. People have said things, some really terrible things to me, you know. And I used to be, oh my God, I used to get real mad. I used to curse you out in the pews at church. And they were like, she's mean, she's nasty. I said, no, the girl, sis was hurt. Sis
Yeah.
was hurt.
Yeah.
Words hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it changed my whole mental state and now I don't play about no bullying. It made me completely change everything about how I talk to everybody, how I deal with people, to the point you got me sitting up in Mattapan Square hugging homeless people. I'm that kind to people, even though other people be like, he's dirty, I'm not touching him. Nope, come here, come bring it on in. I don't care. I can have whatever. I don't care because
Mhm.
kindness, just like those negative narratives and things ruin, well, then you have to do the opposite. So I am dedicating my life to doing the opposite, because who
Yeah.
knows how many other people I might have said something crazy like, "Oh, I don't like your sweater." That might have been the only sweater that friend had.
Mhm.
They might have been living on the street, and that just completely ruined. They done gave up on life. You have to
Right.
be careful.
Right.
You do. There's like, I know you was talking about, which is what I kind of want to do my newer dissertation on, the rewiring of the brain, because there are trauma induced neurodivergences, you know.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I am now diagnosed with ADHD, but also complex PTSD
Mhm.
because of all that I've been through. And I'm like, I'm still just not ready to share everything, because I'm like, people are going to be looking like I just can't with the questions right now, because I
Yeah.
know they're going to be like, "Look at you always smiling." I say, "Yep, check on those friends. Check on them." Because it's,
Yeah.
I promise you, I promise you,
Mhm.
I be going through some things.
Yeah.
I have went through some things, and you would never know by looking at me, because I will take off the clothes off my back. I will take the food out my fridge to go help somebody else.
Yeah.
I will. But those negative narratives, they turn into this lingering trauma. They turn into these chains around your ankle. You become enslaved. You're not even living. You're
Yeah.
not even living. After a while, you're just existing. And
Yeah.
it takes years. I think, what am I, about 4 years, almost 5 years out of my divorce, and I am still fighting like heck to not find who I was, because that girl died.
Mm.
She would have had to give her up. She died through
Mhm.
all of that. I don't
Yeah.
ever want to be that. I think people always, they want to go back. There was something and you broke. You don't ever want to go back to that. You want to do better. You
Yeah.
do. So
Mhm.
I'm still fighting out the trenches. I'm a lot better, a lot more bubbly, and trying to help other people, but
Yeah.
got to be careful who you listening to all the way. You just have to kind of sit with yourself. I just encourage everyone to, even if you think that things are not, a lot of things shape how we think, how we talk, how we act. And you have to ask yourself straight up, is this even me?
Come on. Ooh.
Is it? Because stop. It's the truth.
Because you
We're
read
in a
my
lot of puzzle
brain,
pieces
Miss
of
Danny.
everybody else, and it ain't even you. You just walking around like one of them what do you, little makeshift puppets, because you done taken on something that your mother done said when you was a child, and now you don't think of this, and now from one of your first boyfriends or your first girlfriends, now you're wearing that badge over here.
Come
Oh my
on.
God, a teacher said you was stupid, now you're wearing that as a shoe. Now you're walking in the wrong direction.
Ooh.
It was never meant for you to go there over
Ooh.
stuff that has settled inside of your spirit, because of people in their nasty tales. A lot of people broken. A lot of people. Don't let it be you. Get healed.
I just had to take a sip of water, man, because you was doing the thing, and I said, let me just pause and break, because you was reading my head. That's why I had to fix my glasses, because I said we so in tune right now. I love this, because listen here, I am working on this new. Speaking of complex
Yeah,
trauma, right?
yeah.
The work that I'm doing is really just studying trauma
Yeah.
and the ways that it shows up
Mm,
and the complexities of all of it, really.
yeah.
And one thing that I've learned is we take on these identities, as you were just saying,
Mm,
and
mm-hmm,
it's
mm-hmm.
like it's as if we're giving people. You remember those "Hello, my name is" stickers that we would have to wear at
Yes.
events?
Oh
I
my
feel
gosh.
like it's the equivalent of giving people those stickers and giving them a marker and saying, "What do you say that I am?" And you write them and they slap them on you. And we just out here wearing
Mm,
identities off of narratives that we didn't even tell ourselves, but that people said, you're a bully.
yeah.
You talk too much. You start trauma. You're
Yeah.
traumatizing. You're ugly, and all of these things. We're like,
Mm,
you know what? I guess so. I
right.
that's who I am. And so we wear it, and
Mm,
of course, we're not trying to wear it like a badge of honor.
yeah.
In all honesty, it's like I know no better. So like
Right.
I hold on to all of these things.
Yeah.
And one thing that one of my oldest clients, right? She had a lot of childhood trauma and
Mm,
abuse, and she kept reiterating this title of herself. And I
yeah.
said, where did that come from?
Mm,
And she was like, I I just know this. And so as I'm listening to her story, I was like, oh, so it started from your father's mouth. And the
Mm.
boyfriend and husband after that just continued that name. And so because it was never challenged, because it was never rejected by you, and because you never said, this isn't me, this is something
Yeah.
that someone said about me, she owned it and it became her words. She introduced herself as something that was said to her. And I
Mm.
said, ma'am, that's not
Mm.
you. That's
Yeah.
that's what someone said about you. That's a narrative that was reiterated. And when I talk about narratives, I realize in my own journey, I realized I was reacting to narratives and not the actual
That's
thing that's
right.
happening in
Yeah,
the
that's right.
like, if I'm saying I'm not enough and anything in my life will just keep reiterating that. And it's like, yeah, you ain't enough because look, you got passed off for this, you got rejected for this. That
Yeah.
narrative, like you said, it grows. And
Mhm.
now I can't even engage in a relationship because I'm like, in the back of my
Mm.
head, I'm like, yeah, this person might leave. And I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for this person to be like, you great, but, and it's like, when you hear that, it's just like you're anticipating that. And because you're
Yeah.
anticipating that, now you are reactive to a whole situation. And it's like,
Yeah.
hold on, that's not what's happening here.
Mm. Mm.
The narrative that you are carrying
Mm.
is forcing you to respond a certain kind of way. And so I think we need to talk about that part, about detaching from that part,
Mhm.
because we are literally whole people reacting to narratives and not actual situations that are happening in the moment. And as teachers, we got to teach
Mhm.
the folks, we got to teach the babies. How do we get from that?
So reword it as a question because I'm processing. Processing in my
Okay.
brain.
So when we have the propensity, I don't even use that word, but like
I love it. It's fancy. I love it.
maybe it's because
I,
I've been doing homework all day. But when
yeah.
we have the propensity
Yes.
to be more reactive to narratives than we do the
Mhm.
actual situation that is happening, how
Mm.
do we detach ourselves from that propensity of just reacting to strictly narratives?
So the first thing that comes to my mind is what I have heard often in some of my sessions. You have to separate when they say you have to separate the person from the behavior. You
Mhm.
have to kind of start to act as a sorting machine. And I mean literally, because those narratives typically they're spoken before any action has followed.
Mm.
And with those things, like I said, it becomes your mindset, it becomes all that, your whole identity. So in order to do it, you're not going to be able to do it with them unless you know who you are.
Mm.
And you're going to have to, because it's like we're walking around, like everything that you're looking at, you're not really living in a world that's actually real. I don't even know what word you would use for that. It's like you're living, I don't even know if you can call it lucid, because you're kind of there, but you're not,
Mhm.
because it's based on, I don't even want to say it's rose-colored glasses, because when you're dealing with those narratives, you really do believe it. Sincerely, that is who you are at the moment, even though it's not who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like, oh my goodness. But a lot of times people get stuck because they have no idea who they are. So
Mm.
the way that you would separate it, you have to fly your tail right onto therapy, and you have to find the root of the situation. You have to, or you cannot destroy something that you can identify. You need to know what you're up against. You need to know what you're dealing with.
Mhm.
So, and it's usually, half the time it's not that deep. It's not that deep because it's something that you say often. It's something that you do often. And you're thinking, oh, well, that's just like something I used to say in my teenage years up to like my early adult. I'm mean and I hate everybody. I'm mean, I'm mean, I'm mean. Don't get out my face. And I took on this whole persona
Mm.
of saying I was mean when really I'm the most empathetic. I think I'm too empathetic, to be honest. I be giving people too many. Like, I'm just always trying to hug somebody. Like, Danny, just sit down. Enough of that. We're not doing that no more. But I am. And if you want an easy little pro tip, what if you know that you're believing other people's narratives? All you have to do is look at the opposite of what you're saying. Look at the opposite of what you're thinking. It's not far. It would have to be the polar opposite.
Mm.
Those who think that they're so mean and cruel, no, you was probably hurt. People have said some mean, cruel things, so you internalize not necessarily specifically what they said, but the trait of it. So you're drinking it, you're swallowing these words. So people are saying mean things to you, and now you being cruel to people because you absorb the trait, not necessarily specifically walking around repeating like a parrot what they said, because half the time we don't be remembering everything word for word, but we remember there's those core things that just be like, yep, core memory stored right here, and they said that when I was 5 and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. It's stuck in my head. And you have to challenge that. You have to drag it up out your head. It ain't the time to be cute. You got to drag it out, and you have to let you know this ain't me. I don't want to do this anymore. I know this is what made me feel safe at the moment. This is, you don't even have to give yourself no excuse. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm here now and I'm not. You tell yourself I ain't doing it. Once you start challenging it, it's going to start everything is going to unravel and you're going to find a lot of other things. It's like a box that's been sitting in the attic that then rolled over and everything then busted out. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't even remember that. It's typically linked, like she said, like it comes with friends over the years. So that one little thing that your grandma, I don't know, niecey done said when you was 3 years old and you done internalized it. Now you're 44 and you treating other people like that, you still taking on those mannerisms or characteristics. You're gonna have to, you gotta kill those giants. You gotta knock them down, and you have to say, "This is not who I am. This is, because these narratives, their whole purpose is to kill your purpose. I'm all about the purpose thing. It's gonna keep you the opposite. That's the whole point, is to keep you almost stuck. I like to say stuck in Alice in Wonderland, like to get you stuck in a little storybook. And you know what? I know y'all remember that old school movie, The Page Master. That's exactly what negative narratives look like. Just picked you up like little Peter Pan and Tinkerbell and put you in the story over there. Nah, get on out of there. It's not your story, honey. What is your story? Because when that comes out, it's going to kill the narrative. That's how you kill it. You got to tell your story. You have to tell the truth. It does hurt. It's not always comfortable. It took me a minute to talk about. He was like, what happened? She just on here hollering about being divorced. What happened to her? I said, I was dying in secret. So I'm going to heal out loud. And if you don't like it, then stop looking at me.
Hey.
Stop looking at me. You don't even have to watch me. Just scroll on, block me. I don't even care. I won't even know you're gone. I won't. I'm not that mean, I promise. But I'm just saying, you really have to get to a point where you have to stop. You have to say things to yourself and believe it. Because many people are trained to always listen for everyone else. As a mother, I'm trained to always be. I'm talking to y'all, but I can hear my 4-year-old, and I'm processing everything I'm going to say to that child when I get up off here. I can't help myself. And that's how we train our brains. You have to do the work to train your brain to just, where are you trying to go?
Yeah.
Where you want to go?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, here's why I also love it too. Is because, again, in the work that I'm doing, I'm realizing how much narratives heal, right? There's a whole theory about narrative therapy, meaning I am literally rewriting the story because there's so many pieces of my story where someone else took the pen and they started writing.
Yeah.
Because you can't erase pen, it's like, okay, so instead of me just like trying to scribble over it and write over it, I'm removing that part of me and I'm giving it a new language. I'm giving it new terms because I now can respond a lot better
Yeah.
to these things. And when you brought up the page master, I don't know why I use these probably because I work with young people, but
Yes.
because
Yes.
I'm like, there's this show, I don't even know if PBS is still a thing at this point,
Yes.
but on PBS called Super
Oh, yeah.
Reader. Mhm.
Yes.
And when they would like, oh, let's zap out that word and change it into something else, because the character in the story was like, this is how I have to be because this is my story. And so
Yeah.
in the show, they zap something out and put something in there. And I'm like, y'all doing narrative therapy on these PBS channels, and you didn't even know it, because that's exactly what it is.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
recording and
Yes.
living because this is the story. This is how it is read. But to realize all I have to, thank you, Kiana. Key says it's still on, so thank you, ma'am. But like to say like, and people think it's stupid, but it's like you really can underestimate the changing of certain words
Yeah.
can change a whole
Oh,
perspective,
yeah.
whole
Mm-hmm.
story, and a whole narrative. And I feel like if we're not careful, we just
Mm-hmm.
keep repeating over and over and
Yeah.
over, like, oh, I'm the problem because I'm the difficult one. Are you difficult?
Yeah.
And this is for my neurospicy folks. They be like, oh my God, you're so difficult, and you're just too much, and you're so extra, and you're this. It's like, or I process,
Right.
I behave a little bit differently. It's not
Right.
status quo. It's not
Yeah.
supposed to be. I'm
Right.
not
That's right.
a typical person, hence the divergence, which means the way that I show up is very different. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
make me broken. That doesn't make me faulty. That doesn't mean I'm backwards. That doesn't mean I'm the problem. It just means I operate different. The problem is that people are not taking the time to understand neurodivergence at all.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And it's Autism Awareness Month. Hey, but there's so many different versions of neurodivergent, right? And you
Yeah.
were alluding to that earlier about how just in the processing and how we show up, and the ways that we understand language, and the ways that we understand sarcasm or no sarcasm, passive aggressive things.
Yeah.
It's like, instead of labeling people, why
Yeah.
don't you take the time to learn them?
Exactly.
Because again, once you start to label people, they slap that on them, and now they are
Yeah.
responding, because it's like, well, then I guess I am difficult. I hated being called extra. Everybody, Jermaine, you're so extra. Oh my God, Jermaine, you're so extra. And it's like, I literally walk into rooms now where they're like, girl, you're a whole vibe. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Like, why do you say it like that? And I'm like, child, I've been trying to dim and shrink because I'm about
Yeah.
tired of calling me extra. And it's like, all to find out that the Lord definitely needed. Do I still need to tame it down a little bit sometimes? Sure. But like, essentially, I was made this way for a reason,
That's right.
because I'm
That's
going to
right.
enter into spaces that
That's right.
need all of this. And
That's right.
I shamed myself. Child. I shamed myself for the colors, for the nails, for the hairstyles, the hair colors, the nails. I shamed myself all day, because this is the narrative I'm reacting to, right? Of, it's too much. So maybe I should.
Yes.
They can't handle it. I'm not palatable, and it's like, child, I'm about 9 feet tall, pushing two something. This ain't palatable anyway. So
Right. 110%. I feel you. I'm just listening. I'm laughing because I'm like, same. Same.
right, we
Oh,
some
it
good
just,
girls, man.
yeah. And I'm so sorry. I'm not even, no, actually, no, I'm not sorry. You're just going to have to move over, or I just really, I might rub against you with my belly. I'm just saying. I might move. So, let me get on track. No, but seriously,
Oh
it's real.
my God.
And I sincerely believe, for those who are the believers, I believe these narratives, the whole point that they exist is to kind of send you into a recalculating into the opposite direction of where you're supposed to be going. the whole opposite. Like people was telling you, you're too much, but your personality is more than enough for the spaces that you need to fill, because everybody don't want to hear no monotone person talk. I know I don't. I can't function like that. I need somebody who is over the top, who's honest, who's all of that thing. Like I always say, I just said it because I went to an event on last Saturday, and I'm still uncomfortable with the whole Dr. D. People be calling me and I be acting like I be trying to walk faster. Like I'm like 5'11. I can't go anywhere. I be trying to walk faster. I got all this hair. I was trying to walk faster. So hopefully, so she didn't know I heard her. But I'm still really uncomfortable because people really do, you have those group of people who's always, and it's usually because they want what you have. They lack that, which is why anyone is saying what they're saying, which is why these narratives exist, because it's like an ongoing cycle. You're missing a piece and they can see it. Half of the times, most people can see it when you can't. Most of the time, that's exactly how it is. And they'll be like, oh, well, Danni is so smart. And I just be like, people always say, oh, she's brilliant. She's this. Okay.
Right.
To the point that I for a long time, even to my adulthood, I always hide how smart I am. I was like, I just got back, I guess I'm what do you call, twice exceptional, because my IQ is sky high. And I'm like, I don't want to share that because people are going to be like, oh, it's her again. And I have to say, you know what? So what? So why do you have to hide that? Because you know what? I fought with it, but I'm like, it's gonna take your brain, how you think, even though I be up at 3 in the morning, like, yeah, so this is what we're gonna do. I swear to God, I just be doing too much, but I mean, really not enough. But I feel like it's people that have those big personalities, those big thoughts. You're gonna save somebody's life.
Come on.
And it's a whole lot of somebody's, because I'm working on stuff that I can't even speak on. And even though it sound crazy, I said, you know what, you let them keep thinking that you're crazy, let them keep thinking you're stupid. But you know good and well, I'm coming with a big bang. Nothing about me is small, even when I be trying to shrink.
Right.
I be trying. I said, Danielle, just stand on up, because at this point you're gonna have back problems, because you just can't. Like, it's who you are. And though that innate, you'll start to know when you've been a victim of those negative narratives, because you're gonna start tussling with yourself and you're gonna be like, yeah, this is uncomfortable. And not uncomfortable as in God told you to do something you don't want to do it, not that type of uncomfortable.
Exactly.
But another conversation for another day. But it's uncomfortable in the fact, like, okay, you can't, it's unsettling. You don't know, like, you're like, okay, what the heck is this? Something is wrong. I don't know what to do. You're gonna know. You just have to peel it back like an onion, and it's in layers. You gotta peel that off, and you have to, she says, zap it. I love that. That is really cute. Now I have to go watch an episode.
Right. I'm
Zap
about to
them
go
words out. Yes, replace it.
List.
We gotta replace the narrative. However, even if it's not perfect, replace it with whatever. Just be creative. Maybe you're not too much, you're just enough. Or you know what the truth is, most people are just, it's because they're not enough, or they don't feel like they're enough. People want to sip off of your tea is what it is. And you let them know, you gotta be positive. Can't come over here with the toxic attitude.
It cannot. But it's so true, because like you say, you 5'11", I think I shrunk. I say I'm 5'9.5". And I promise you, I had this shrinking tendency, because I'm just like, I'm really not trying to draw all of this attention.
No.
I want that. That's too much. I didn't have a choice. So my event that I said I was going to wait till the end to talk about. So May 30th is called Occupy Your Space. And the reason why it's called Occupy Your Space is for reasons like this. We spend a lot of time shrinking, thinking less of ourselves, having these limited beliefs because of these narratives. And it's like, and we live life, like we create lifestyles around narratives, like we really do. And as a result, we don't occupy our space. We shrink, we show up partially. We don't say anything, we don't talk, We don't do first of all. Yes, I'm 5'9.5", without shoes on because I shrunk. And now that I'm bald, it might actually just be 5'9". Um, it's like I wanted to create an event that literally is about mental wealth for the brown and black
Yeah.
community, but also giving people permission to occupy your space, whether you are
Yeah.
neurodivergent, whether you are big, bold, beautiful, and colorful, and all of those things.
Yeah.
It's like, be you, because as me and Danny are saying, purpose matters, and the enemy knows.
Mm-hmm.
He has an inkling of where God is trying to push him. He's like, I don't need them to find and access that purpose, so I'm going to try to do any and everything to distract
Yes.
them, tell them to turn around,
Yeah.
because I had an event on Tuesday as well. And something that I said was, for years, I couldn't stand being around females because I was like, y'all do way too much. Y'all talk too much. Y'all gossip. Y'all always trying to fight somebody. Always trying to compete with somebody. I ain't got time. Like, I don't. And all to find out that when people ask me, so Jermaine, what's your niche? Who's your target audience? I say all the time, teens, young adults, and women of color.
Always, that's what it always is.
How would I have been able to operate in said purpose if I'm still trying to avoid the very people I'm sent to?
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
And so, shameless but not shameless plug.
Yeah.
May 30th, I hope everybody buys their tickets because they're discounted for a little bit and, gets into the room. But I definitely feel like we have to keep in mind that we should not be creating lifestyles off of narratives and off of words. Like, there was a term that came to my head. You said something a while ago, and it's like words have characteristics because they create identities, right? And for the longest time, I'm like, words have characteristics. That's crazy. That sounds dumb. They're words.
Yeah.
Because you internalize them, you give them life, you give identity, and now here we are being whole people off of words. And that's how powerful they are. But we have reached the end of today's episode, and this was amazing. I hope y'all have been sharing this. I hope somebody got something from this, whether you're watching this live or you're coming back and watching the rebroadcast. But at the end of every episode, I do love to give my lovely guest, although she's been here before, an opportunity to share if there was any final last words that you can give someone who may struggle with negative narratives and doesn't know how to detach from them. What would be your final words of encouragement to them so that they can find themselves walking out of that said mental prison to be able to live life on purpose with purpose?
Period. So I would definitely say what I always say. You can run to the nearest therapist because it's okay to need help. Seriously, like, please, therapy is cool. It's cool. That's the cool kids table. It is. Because I mean, it's okay to need help, and especially like having to, detach and debunk all of those narratives from such a long period of time. Some people are dealing with those for years and they don't know. So you're going to need some help. So it's 110%. Don't ever feel like, oh my God, do I say it? This is their job. You find a good one. Go get some help so that you can so they can at least, even if you are the one that finishes the work, just even you might just need like a little push. So if you just need that push, just go on, start the conversation, take as long as you need. There is no rush. This is a journey. It's a process because it didn't happen overnight, and you're not going to get to the other end overnight. So just be patient with yourself. Please give yourself grace. It's not something that you did. You didn't do anything wrong. It happens. It happens so much more frequently and naturally than people even think. But I'm hoping that someone just like, yep, I'm getting free. Yep, I'll be calling the therapist in the morning. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, thank y'all.
I appreciate it because, as a therapist, They think when I say something like, you're a therapist, you have to say that. And I'm like, all right. So when we have advocates out
You
there
need to
that have
support it.
done their own work, yeah, because they don't listen to me. They're like, you're supposed to. I'm like, I'm saying it because I've been on both sides of the chair.
Yeah.
Saying
Yeah.
my client and as therapist. And I literally told my client before this, I was like, I approach therapy very differently because I've been on the other side. And as a therapist, you're like, although you're trained and you understand everyone has their own process, I'm like, bro, why are we saying the same thing 5 weeks? Like we ain't moved from this one thing. And then I find myself talking about the same thing for 5 weeks. I say, you know what, Jermaine, shut up, because you didn't understand the process the way that you thought you did. And so, when we have advocates out there that are saying like, no, therapy works.
It helps.
Especially in the brown and black community. We need help. Okay.
Yeah.
We are literally scientifically and factually some of the most traumatized individuals on the entire world. Okay. And so for us to just be like, I'm cool, like therapy ain't gonna do nothing for me, and I don't need it because I got okay. All right. I hear you. But again,
don't discriminate. Don't care what your background is. Don't care how old you are. It can help. It can be a resource. Even if it's just a tool. Might not solve everything, but it can get the conversation started so you know what to do.
Heavy on the conversation started. That's what this part is about. Starting the conversation. Like I just want people to start talking about it.
Yeah.
People talking about mental health now.
Yeah.
It's popular.
It's important. Yeah.
It's like, no, it's more than just, oh, I heard this conversation. Keep having the conversation. Because like I think you brought it up earlier of like when we start to talk about things and we start detaching from them, it's like, this wasn't even mine this whole time. You mean to tell me this label, this identity that I carried for all of these years wasn't even mine?
Yeah, you're going to feel a lot better. Put the cheap purse down. Put it down. Put it down. Let it go. It don't belong to you.
I love it. Well, Miss Ma'am, I appreciate you. This was an amazing episode. You a doctor indeed. You taught the folk. You taught me some things. I appreciate you so much. Like I say, everybody don't log off because there's a video at the end. The announcement of, that event I was talking about. That's on there. And, since Danni is a teacher and she has some resources for those who have some neurodivergent children, her information will also be at said event. So if you need to see her before then, hit her up. But, if y'all are in the room at my event, that you can buy tickets now. Don't mind me, y'all. I'm tired. So.
I love it. I love it.
Thanks again, Danni. Thank you all for watching.
Anytime.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope something that was said truly resonates with you. And if it does, please feel free to share it. Maybe there's some other episodes that you haven't seen, and I have a ton of them. And so you can go back and watch them. I make this video at the end of every episode because there's some announcements that are coming up, announcements that are mine and maybe other people's, because I'm all about healing and wellness for the community. All right, because I am an intergenerational healing clinician and advocate. So stay tuned. If you need me, you know where to find me, guys. All right, bye.